Hey, folks in the chat, we are about to start here in a couple of moments. If it ends, we apologize. It will restart here in a couple of moments. It's Jesse's first day at the office. We apologize. He's just newly trained. So, you know.
I don't think they heard any of that because it was.
Dang it. It was so good. It was so good.
But why did you have to stop the Twitch side? Couldn't you? I thought you could go to Restream and just click it off.
Yeah, but I have to reset the stream to change settings because that's a paid perk to change restream settings on the fly.
Oh, okay.
Oh, got it. Okay, so it looks like we're live now over on Twitch. Are we recording, Jesse?
Yes, we are.
Tim, shall we start?
Yes, we shall. In 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 327, recorded on May 20th, 2021. On tonight's episode, with special guest André Segers from Game Explain, we talk about latest news on Nintendo's Mario Golf and Skyward Sword, this summer's flood of gaming events, and our road to E3. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here, and you're listening to Nintendo Dads, episode 327. It is May 20th, 2021, and we are on the road to E3. Well, I mean, we're not really on the road to E3. We're virtually
metaphorical
on the
road. It's like a rainbow road.
It's just something Justin came up with so we can have a bunch of guests on the show and talk about E3.
You make it sound like I didn't actually spend a lot of time thinking about it.
I'm sure you did.
I have spent a lot of times in DMs, and I thought it sounded like Road to WrestleMania, to be completely honest. I'm shocked you're not on board with this.
I'm on board with it. I'm just saying we're not on a road. Anyway, I digress. We're all here, and we're on something. We may just not be able to tell you what it is.
What are we on exactly?
I don't know. We're off the rails is what we are. Guys, we are indeed approaching one of the most important times of the year for video game journalists. Video games is a hobby, and that is E3. And so over the next few weeks, you're going to see lots of guests come through the show, and we're going to talk about a lot of what we think we'll see, predictions, rumors, hopes, dreams, all kinds of things like that. And joining me on this show tonight to talk about that, Mr. Justin Masson. How are you, Justin?
Yeah, I'm doing all right now that you shot down my hard work I've been doing for like a week. Yeah, meanie, but I'm doing all right. I'm excited. This really is like, I'm getting more and more excited about E3. We're getting there. We were saying in the pre-show, I was like, I just need to start seeing a schedule. Like, I'm a very schedule orientated person. Show me a calendar. What time am I expected to log in?
It's not business, Justin, for nothing.
No, I mean, I'm really, but you know what? We're here with Andre, and he's been E3 all the time. He knows what's going on. So I'm excited to hear what's going on with his opinion as well. And man, Nintendo has had a week, ups, downs, and a lot of Nintendo, what you doing moments. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that.
Or not doing.
Or not doing. That's exactly right. We're going to talk about it all. Jesse Waldack, straight from the Midwest. How you doing, buddy?
Good. So more like Nintendo, when you doing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, foreshadowing for the show. You doing okay, though? Everything's good? You said you'd had a week earlier.
Sounds like he has. Going over to Tim. Yeah, Tim, how are you, sir?
He's still trying to get back on track.
You're on track. You got the Bowser hat on, man.
Yes, I do. And my Bowser shirt. My King Bowser shirt here.
Oh,
so.
I like it. So how are you?
I'm Bowsering it up. I'm having a good time as always, and happy to be here because originally I thought I wasn't going to be here because of work, but things worked out and I was able to get here and talk some E3 with all of you guys. So
they worked out by work not happening.
Yes, exactly. So.
It's so weird because you were in the Discord chat. You were like, I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to hang out with Andre at all. You were so angry about him. You were like, I don't know what I don't understand the whole beef.
I don't want to hear.
There were words that I had never heard out of you before. It was so inappropriate.
Speaking of Andre, our guest this week from Game Explain, André Segers. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here.
Yeah, it's been a while. We were talking about this before that we kind of got rolling in the official show and our pre-show about how long it's been since you've been on the show here.
30 years.
Everything feels like, like one of these days when we're sitting around talking to our grandkids and be like, let Grandpa tell you about the pandemic. And they're going to be like, no, we don't want to hear any more about it.
Not again, Grandpa.
Not again. But man, we are so honored for you to take a little bit of time out from your life and your all the things Game Explain's got going on for you to hang out with us tonight. So we really do appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be your first E3 guest.
Awesome. Well, guys, there is a literal ton of stuff in the notes tonight to talk about. And so how about we just dive straight in, shall we?
Do it. Do it. Do it some more. Do it. Hit the buttons. Do it some more, Marty. Do it.
I don't hit the buttons. Jesse hit
the buttons. Hit the buttons, Jesse. You asked for it. You told me every single time we do that segue, I have to do that.
Right.
That's right. I did tell you, you need to jazz it up a little bit. Speaking of jazzing some things up, Justin, who supports the news, by the way?
Manscaped. Manscaped.com/Nintendo Dads is where you can get your discount code. Use 25%
I thought it was
off.
Lawnmower. I thought it was lawnmower.
No, of course, Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. That's why we don't require manscaping and ads. And for as little as $1 a month, you can head over there and help us to fund this dumpster fire of a podcast that we do every single week. But we appreciate you so much. Thank you to the over 115 supporters that support us every single month. And of course, if you're in our Discord, if you're in the back channels, you know what's going on, then ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear more information about our major event, Dad Fest, coming up. We have partnered with our arch rivals, the Mega Dads, and in June we are having a Dad Fest event. We're gonna have more details in there. We're gonna look for participation. We're gonna look for a golf tournament. We're really excited. So of course, if you're on Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, you can join in.
Justin, I just have to say I was really impressed after last week after we called the Mega Dads GoBots that they extended the invitation.
Yeah, the problem was that was so far in the works already that by me calling them GoBots, they were already pretty much committed to this thing with us. So they knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, absolutely, Andre. If you missed it, we were saying that we're Transformers and they're GoBots. So
Got it.
If you have a loving memory of GoBots, I'm sorry.
I actually do. That's actually the show I watched.
Oh,
Wow.
Every morning I'd wake up early to catch it.
We were just talking last week about how it hasn't aged well. That or He-Man. That's just not, it's kind of unwatchable now.
Yeah.
He-Man, you boob. Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Well, guys, let's hop right in and let's talk about one positive thing that Nintendo did this week, which was to premiere a brand new trailer for Mario Golf Super Rush, which gave us our first real overview of the game. This dropped, I believe it was on Tuesday. So it's been a couple of days and we've had plenty of time to kind of look over it. Lots of things included here, as well as looking at main game modes, showing off different characters, which some of them were a complete surprise. I've seen the internet kind of explode over the fact that you can play King Babam, as well as Chargin' Chuck, who ironically plays football, but he's in a golf game.
Those skills are interchangeable. There's the same sport.
Right.
It's totally the same
So
sport.
I just wanted to kind of dive in. Obviously, we've all probably had a chance to look at this trailer and kind of take it in by now. What were you guys' thoughts? Andre, we'll start with you. What do you think about Mario Golf? Are they headed in a good direction? You like what you're seeing, etc.?
Yeah, I think they are heading in a good direction. It's been a while since we've had a Mario Golf game, let alone a console Mario Golf game, which is where I prefer to play them. Although I guess this is both being on Switch. And yeah, I thought World Tour was pretty, or Open Tour, whatever it was on 3DS. I thought that was decent. But this seems to be going a little bit farther with some of the concepts, so like the in-depth story mode, where you could level up your character seemingly. I like the different hazards we're seeing on the courses. And the having some of the new characters there, like Chargin' Chuck, who I love. I'm a huge Mario World fan, so seeing a Mario World enemy being playable here is great. King Babam, classic. So yeah, I am excited for it. I'm digging most of the things they're doing. I am a little concerned about some of the courses maybe looking just a little bit generic, like even with the Mario characters. Like there's a couple of courses that look almost identical. Like one takes place at a golf course and the other in a like grassy field, like looks just like like a country club rather in the first one. But that aside, I am excited for it. I think it looks cool and I'm eager to try it. So
I'm really glad that you mentioned the court, like the look of the courses. I think for me overall, like not as a golf game fan, I do pick up the Mario golf games and play them when they do come out. Like I just, that's kind of a head scratcher to me. I was talking with Adam Winter from Mega Dads about that on Twitter earlier this week, and he was like, "You've got all of this lore, all of this lush area in the Mushroom Kingdom, and you pick grassy field."
Yeah,
country club. really doesn't even look like it belongs in a Mario game. It looks like it belongs in the real world.
Right.
Now, they did show off, like, eventually you'll get to like a lava area that looks more like Bowser Land or whatever, but I don't get that. I didn't really understand, but I want to talk about, well, let me ask you this, Justin, Jesse, Tim, what did you guys think about the trailer? Did it, what I want to know is, were any of you on the fence about the game and this trailer made you go, yes?
I don't know if I'd say it was on the fence. I'd already pre-ordered it, but really I pre-ordered it because I know our community will want to play it. So I'm engaged with that idea. I think what it pushed me over a little bit more onto is actually the battle golf. They showed that at the end. I think that was new, right? That was something that looked really cool. The battle golf had my attention. I still feel like it's a little bit trying to be a little bit of everything. There's a lot of options, right? We've got speed golf, battle golf, standard golf, adventure golf. And I'm like, okay, so like, what am I trying to actually do? It seems a little bit argy-bargy. The other part of it that I'm there's a little tingle in the back, like the spidey senses tingling, hairs in the back of my neck are up, and maybe Andre, you can talk me down on this one. It's done by the same folks, Camelot, who did Mario Tennis on the Switch, and Mario Tennis came out, and it was kind of like it was okay. It kind of came out like at a 60%, and it took like a year long of DLCs and free updates to get it to like a 80%. And I'm a little bit worried. Is that what we're expecting that we might see here? I don't know. What do you guys think? And Andre, I'll throw that to you. Are you concerned at all?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, it's weird because Camelot was practically the ones that invented the Mario sports games, and they made, I still think, were some of the best ones, being 64 Mario Golf and Tennis on the GameCube and 64.
Yep.
And then, something happened in the last decade or so where, I don't know, the team completely changed over or what happened. But there have been, like, I think some major issues with some of their games, and the biggest issue, of course, was Mario Tennis on the Wii U. What Mario Tennis 8 was that? Aces? No, that wasn't Aces. That
Ultra
was,
Smash.
Ultra Smash. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah, which was the E3 demo showed off like 80% of the game, and that took place on a court with like 4 characters. So and then Aces improved upon the formula, but didn't quite hit at the same level the previous ones did. I will say, based on what I've seen of Mario Golf, it looks closer to the games I remember growing up with more than Mario Tennis did. And I actually did enjoy Aces for whatever issues it may have had. So I am optimistic. I think they probably learned lessons from Aces. I have seen some complaints about the roster. Some people want to see even more of the typical Mario cast. But I'm like, we got most of the mainstays. I'm happy with the new characters they're introducing. I do see your point though about there being like a lot of modes. That's not entirely new to Mario Tennis though. Mario Golf. They've all had like their own gimmicks along the way, and they all haven't been great. So that might be the case here too. Battle Golf looks cool, but maybe it'll be lame in practice.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm concerned of. Like, so is there like is there one stage for Battle Golf, right? It's the same one every single time, right? And I think this is a little bit of kind of going back to the statement that Marty and you both made earlier, which is, you showed me a lush golf green. Tell me there's more. Tell me there's more. I've seen a couple more, but you got to tell me there's more. Like, I got to see a good, like, hey, we've got, I don't know, 30 good golf courses for you to try, and that are different rotations, right? And different challenges.
Justin,
and I just don't feel like that's there.
I'm reading some notes that I found when I was looking over this. 6 lavish locations to choose from. So we've already seen 3 of 4 of those. Is it Country Club, Field, Desert, and Lava? So What are the other two? I don't know.
Well, and I wonder if when they're saying lavish locations, is it like, and in this location there are several courses, or is it just one course? Like, are they biodomes?
Maybe it was lava-ish because of Bowser's course.
I just think, like, I think back, we've got 35 years of Mario lore here, like, of places that they could golf at. Like, why am I not golfing on an 8-bit, like, Mario 1 inspired course, and then one for Mario 2 and Mario 3 and 64
Space?
and
Mario Galaxy? Like, why?
Yeah,
Right?
I want to golf between planets, even. Yeah, I mean, I think. Go ahead.
75 meters?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say I think the game does feel perhaps a little safe, but maybe that's what we need too. Maybe they don't need to go too wild with the idea and just make it competent. But I think it was Justin that brought up the point that they only have one course for Battle Golf, which is weird to me because all the courses in this game. Oh, I'm sorry. I started hearing something. I heard myself through the headset. I had Twitch open. I'm sorry. That totally threw me
not
off.
a problem.
I'm like,
I was like, did we lose him? Like, you just stopped.
I thought someone else was talking for a second, and I was trying to look at the Twitch chat, and then I recognized my own voice. What the hell's going on here? All right, anyways, I'm not losing. I'm here. So the weirdest thing that was, I think Justin was saying, as I was also saying, Battle Golf looks cool. One course though, and it's weird because in this case, it seems all the courses take place, or all the holes take place in the same physical space. Like you have 9 or 18 holes on the same map, and that you would think that would lend itself perfectly well to Battle Golf too. So I don't know. It's hard to say. We need to play it.
Another thing too.
That's
here,
a great point.
With the adventure mode, I've seen a lot of people who are excited about that. A couple of things I wanted to point out was we had a story mode in Mario Tennis Aces. Mm-hmm. It wasn't great. Like it was real, like just kind of tacked on. I hope this is not that. It does look like there's a little bit more to it as far as like leveling up or whatever. But how can we get such a robust Mii creator in Miitopia that's out tomorrow, and then we go backwards to the old Wii era flat Miis for this? That was kind of jarring because I was like, oh, surely everything will have that kind of upgraded Mii thing from now. Nope.
It's. I mean, I agree with you, and it's almost kind of weird that we're seeing like a recent resurgence of Miis. Like Nintendo was ignoring them largely, aside from the profile icons, and now we have 2 games back to back taking advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. The fact that Miitopia has the enhanced Mii system would make it just innately incompatible with anything else. It's like you can't backfill them into Smash or anything else.
Yeah, I was on the Nintendo Pals podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we had this conversation about Miis, and I kind of said that the Miis were I think Nintendo was so burned by the Wii U that they were like, we are that is dead to us. Anything associated with it, as much as we can, we are clean cutting it. And I think now that they're 4 years into their life cycle and realizing that, yeah, we have definitely rebuilt our brand. We've remade some successes. We're going to try and kind of pull over some of these things that really worked well for us. And I think it's why you're seeing them re-engaged. I also think it's kind of now trying to reposition it again, because that success, one of the successes that made the Wii such a success was, believe it or not, Mii's, I think in some way, right? Because you could make your own. It could feel like you're part of the game, totally. Right? You really had your avatar, right? Of course, that began the whole avatar, building your own avatar kind of time that we had. And so I think with Nintendo saying we want to continue to get into the markets, we want to continue to get into other houses that do not have it. Let's reintroduce a character that helps get us into these homes, right? Mm-hmm. So you could really feel like it was personalized to you. So I wouldn't be shocked if we continue to see more Mii's with this franchise. Go ahead, Tim.
I look at it a little bit differently, whereas I think Nintendo did back off the Mii's because they were trying to, and I think they even mentioned this, that they were trying to go for the hardcore gamer, if you will, the harder gamers, not necessarily the casual gamers. So they went away from the casual marketing stuff like the Mii's. And then as they're going further down the line, now they can start bringing out those games that are more casual games for families and all that. And then, okay, now let's bring back the Mii's back into the fold. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a truth bomb right now, and you're going to hear it first. A Nintendo Dads exclusive. Mii's are what killed the Wii U. Yep, that's exactly what it was. Mii's killed the Wii U.
Yeah.
So just kind of here amongst our group, Justin's already got this game pre-ordered. Jesse, are you in for Mario Golf?
I also had it pre-ordered from the start, and for full transparency, I have not seen this new trailer.
Oh.
Okay, so
looks like we're doing a live reaction after this show.
You have homework tonight. Tim, are you in for Mario Golf?
I am in, but I'm buying the physical version in the store. So
well, I didn't realize this would be like news item number 1 of the week, and then so I was kind of not wanting to watch it. Trying to get all this information natively instead of through a trailer.
Gotcha.
And for me,
Andre, I assume with you you're in for Mario Golf, and what we mean by that is Doug Bowser just rolls up to your house and takes you golfing. I assume is what Mario Golf is for you.
I live in Seattle now. So
that's exactly my point.
It is ironic that I moved to Seattle like right before the pandemic. So I'm closer than ever to Nintendo, and of course I can't see anything of them because there's no one's doing events locally right now. So yeah,
gotcha. But are you in for Mario Golf? Is this a game that makes you want to like?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, despite like my whatever hesitations I may have, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm a big Mario Golf fan. I love playing with friends, like locally especially. And I don't think we've had a console one since the GameCube one, unless I'm misremembering something. Yeah, I don't think we have. So that's been nearly 20 years. So I'm so down for this.
Yeah. I need this to do well so that they will revive the volleyball wrestling Mario game concept that was. Rumored to come out.
Next Level Games was working on that, I think, right?
Yeah.
I
need that to come out.
I want to. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of Mario sports games they could either bring back or visit for the first time. I wanted a Mario Striker sequel too. Where's that at?
And I want a Mario's football game.
Yes. Charging Chuck, come on.
Yes,
I'm gonna be honest. I'd love a Mario hockey game.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be pop. I mean,
and where the fights just break into like when they decide to fight, it just breaks into Smash Brothers. It's just a Smash Brothers overlay.
Yes.
What I love that we didn't talk about it at all as we're kind of wrapping up talking about Mario Golf here is the outfit choices, man. There's some characters in this game that are, as the kiddos say today, serving up looks.
Waluigi
and Bowser looking like some kind of goth lizard golfer. I mean, it's awesome.
They're lit.
Awesome.
They're lit. They're lit.
They're lit. Yeah.
Oh, they're lit. Yeah.
I saw someone on Twitter price out Wario or Waluigi's golf outfit, and it was like $250, and it was like links to actual places you could buy it. I was like, man. I might be submitting a Patreon receipt real soon for some sweet gear.
Telling you right here, all of that's stolen. If it's
Waluigi. Oh yeah, for sure.
You walked out the store with it. Well, speaking of stuff that's in stores, Nintendo shadow dropped yesterday some news about a brand new amiibo that is coming to store shelves soon. July 16th, you will be able to purchase the Zelda and Loftwing amiibo for $25 USD. This is to coincide with the release of Skyward Sword HD, and along with it comes a really, really neat feature that has some people upset.
Speaking of an opportunity for Nintendo to really take a mulligan.
Right.
It's a golf reference. Some of you'll get that, some of you won't.
Yeah. So
I even got that, and I'm not a golfer.
For those of you who haven't heard about this yet, you know that if you're familiar with Skyward Sword, you know that there's times in the game that you need to transfer between the ground and the sky. And you can do this via statues on the ground. Like, do you want to go back to the sky? You can do that, and you can only do it from certain places unless you have this brand new shiny tchotchke that Nintendo is putting out, where you can tap this amiibo at any time and transition in any place between the sky and land. Seeing as how this is a huge element of Skyward Sword, it's really interesting to me that they've locked such a quality of life upgrade behind what amounts to a paywall, especially when it comes to anything Zelda and limited edition, because yesterday links dropped and they sold out in seconds. at Best Buy and Target, and no, I'm not bitter. I didn't get one. Andre, what do you make of this? It's a gorgeous amiibo, one of the best they've ever made. But what do you think about this whole kerfuffle?
I honestly don't care that much. I know some people are really upset by it. In this case, it's so fundamentally I'm opposed to like locking important features behind amiibo. Like, I'm not a fan of using amiibo in general. Even I think they're cool looking, but I just don't like the process of having to have it near me, scanning it and all that, and then the fact that to pay for these features. With that being said, this is a feature no one asked for. No one was clamoring to be able to warp to the sky quickly or back. It'll be convenient, sure, but it's not something the game needed. That's the least of the game's issues. Not that it has any major problems. It's just there's other things I would fix first before that. But now that Nintendo announced this feature that no one ever wanted or expected, now people are upset that you have to pay to get it. And I get that on a principle level. Yeah, again, it sucks having to buy amiibo to use this feature. On the other hand, had this amiibo never come out, had that feature never existed, no one would care. So the fact that the amiibo exists with this feature doesn't really change anything. Exactly. The base game's still perfectly playable, and I'm hoping they'll make other improvements to the game. That won't be locked behind amiibo. We've already seen some of them, but yeah, I just can't get angry. It's like I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of lame. That's kind of dumb they did that, but I also don't care. Whatever, I can't get angry about it.
Well, to your point, I agree with that it's basically, it's still the base game. That feature was not there, would not have been there. And now it's there because of the amiibo. So what? It's there. It's a bonus, I guess, to come with the amiibo. So that's the part I didn't understand, with people getting upset about something that wasn't even in the game, in the original game. So
one of the things I think is interesting the most about Skyward Sword is it was a big announcement for them in the last Direct. It was the game that lots of people have been asking for, wondering how can this ever happen again on new hardware? How are they going to change it? How are they going to make it available? Is it coming? And finally they reveal it, and then they have said nothing. And it comes out in less than 2 months.
Well, I'm kind of not surprised about that. They normally go radio silent this time of year to prepare for E3.
So you think they're saving this as a big portion of their E3?
No, this is going to be communication after E3.
Yeah,
this is going to be a whole different press beat. Just like this week, the entire week was Miitomo stuff on their socials. Yeah. I have cared less about Miitomo than ever. Go ahead, Jesse. I apologize.
If they're going to do live segments, I think I think this has a chance of being featured there. But I don't think it'll be part of the main. I
actually hope they have a live segment so they can make up for the initial reveal of Skyward Sword 10 years ago, where they had the interference issues where the controls didn't work.
Oh yeah,
that was fun to watch.
It was. I was there in the audience when that happened, and that was. It probably felt even more awkward in person than it did on the screen.
Oh man.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one, but I had friends who were too, and they thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, I was going to say something else, and I don't remember what
you brought that up, and now that's so bad. So bad. I felt like, oh, gosh.
I think I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Miyamoto even asked the audience at some point to turn off their phones or something.
Turn off their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, turn off the Wi-Fi or something. Yeah, in case that was causing an issue. Yeah, that was a very awkward.
Yeah. Well, I have a slightly different problem with Amiibo, because I'll still buy the Amiibo as figures, and the last almost dozen that I bought, I have kept in box. And I did get an Amiibo pre-ordered, but nice. If I actually want to use it, that means I have to open the box.
Well, if anyone has an extra one out there that they don't want to do what a bunch of rotten people are doing on eBay and sell them for $75 to $100 or more, if you just like to get rid of it for actual price, Jesse and I are looking for one. So
I'm sorry. Do you not understand how supply and demand economics works?
I'm not getting into that discussion here.
No, I'm not looking for one. I already have one pre-ordered. Actually, I have two pre-ordered.
So I'm
one for me, one for my son.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think this is also interesting. This is we're starting to, and speaking of things from Nintendo systems pasts that appear to be making a resurgence, Amiibo appears to be making a little bit of a trot back. We had traditionally seen it being used for the Super Smash Brothers, right? So there's no huge shock there, but we've seen this 3D Mario, 3D Super Mario 3D World with Bowser, right? That had an amiibo. This has an amiibo. Are we starting to kind of see Nintendo re-engage this, or do you think these are just onesies and twosies? Sorry, and the Monster Hunter stuff. I apologize. Thank you, Tim, for that.
I think what you said there at the very end, the onesie twosie thing, it's a big release. We're going to throw out an amiibo for this. I don't think we'll ever see them do a line of amiibo again.
No,
because Animal Crossing bombed so badly. I won't say it bombed. It just sat for a long time, and they're still in Five Below stores across the nation. They cannot get rid of Kix and that dog that supposed to be Isabel's friends.
How that franchise has just gone through a roller coaster, hey?
Absolutely.
On the Wii U, just like it was like that was probably what actually killed the Wii U was Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And then now 5 years later, it is the second highest selling game on Nintendo Switch and actually the quickest selling game the entire series has ever had, right? Just real journey. Right?
You don't want 800 Pokemon Amiibo?
No.
God.
Jesse included
my box is only so big
in our notes that on the bottom of the website, I guess, for Skyward Sword or wherever you find the Loftwing amiibo, it says this: Zelda and Loftwing amiibo is the only amiibo that can be used in Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So all those other Zelda amiibos sitting around, even the Skyward Sword ones you already have.
That's surprising because the other Zelda games have been pretty good about making use of the existing Zelda amiibo. Yeah. So I was surprised, especially because there is already a Skyward Sword amiibo that's out there and as part of the 30th line, and it doesn't work here, which is weird. Even as some kind of small bonus. I personally don't care, but I can see why that would rub some the wrong way.
Yeah. Even if it was here's a rupee or here's some monster guts. At least
exactly.
Did
That's basically exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because there is, this was the first Zelda game, right, where you could get lots of things and craft upgrades to weapons.
Pretty much.
They pointed that out when they introduced it. They were like, some of the things that Breath of the Wild got came from this game. It would be great to get some of that stuff, but maybe they'll patch that in. Who knows? Let's move on. Let's talk about this. HAL Laboratory announced this week that they are planning, quote, the next stage of Kirby. I
only
would love
one
to hear your
stage?
thoughts. What do we do with Kirby now? He's gone to a robot planet. He fought an intergalactic demon that was going to devour the universe in his Switch game.
Wasn't he a pinball once?
He's been a pinball. He's been
breakout clone ball once.
Where do we go from here for Kirby?
3D.
I like it.
Yeah, I think
they tried that once.
Didn't they do that on the 3DS? Kinda.
Did they?
There was a 3D game, but it was almost like a, and here's this. It's available right now. Type game.
Maybe. I don't remember if they did.
About the fighter game?
No. Now you got me looking it up.
I don't know.
The Kirby 3D game. I don't know. No, I can't.
Andros has something in the chat that I want, and that's Air Ride 2. I love the first Air Ride game,
which is a 3D Kirby game. So there we go. 2 birds, 1 stone. No, Air Ride. Specifically for me, City Trial is where it's at. I love City Trial. And I would love just a whole game. If they just took that mode and made it a whole game, I'm totally down with that. So.
It was called Kirby 3D Rumble. Kirby 3D Rumble, and it was a sub-game in Planet Robobot. And then an expanded version of the game called Kirby's Blowout Blast was on the Nintendo eShop in 2017. And the reason nobody probably heard about that is it came out on April 12th, 2017, and we were all playing Breath of the Wild.
Wow, I'm looking at a video now on my own channel, apparently. It's one of the first search results, and I have no memory of this thing.
Okay, just for our own curiosity, who reviewed it or who did the coverage, Andre? Was it you?
No, I don't think I did.
Because that would be even better. You're like, hey guys, it's Andre from Game Explain. You're
I'm
like,
just going senile now. I don't know where I am.
I'm with you though, man. I think a good 3D Kirby, be great.
I think like in the vein of like 3D Land and 3D World, which the game you were describing looked a little bit like that already. But I think even more embracing that type would be a good stepping stone into 3D. I myself would love a full like open 3D Kirby like Mario, where you can absorb powers. And I guess Mario Odyssey kind of already played with this itself a little bit by taking powers. But I would love to see Kirby's take on it. And I think that's they've made so many 2D games at this point. It's time to move on. Come on, give us something new.
Yep.
I have a question. Is that in our notes? Next stage is in quotes. Was that in the article that way, or was it?
It was. It was quoted. The title of the article was quoted.
Okay, so is that like some sort of hint of what it could be? Like it has some sort of staging, like acting, theater type?
I would not be mad if it was kind of like
another
epic yarn.
Super Mario Brothers 3 yet?
They had taken it like that because I love like the Yoshi's Crafted World and Woolly World and the way those games play with the medium. Epic Yarn did that. I thought Epic Yarn was one of Kirby's best games. But.
Well, if they do like an acting or movie theme, where it's the next stage, or a theater theme where Kirby has to go through like these different theater or movies or shows or whatever like that type of thing, and then he would suck up different characters from those different movies to do stuff. Here's what would be kind of cool.
Here's what I want to pitch. A roguelike, dark, M-rated Kirby game.
Okay, there we go. All right.
All right.
It's all about Meta Knights?
Oh, yeah. But it's like super dark. Like when he gets sucked in, it just like you see them implode and it's like sharp teeth and there's like a blood trail and just really dark with Kirby.
I want God of War with Kirby.
Yeah. It's like what I really want is I want like Kirby gets like injected with like the super soldier serum and he's like basically the Hulk, right? And he just loses it everywhere.
That's gamma rays. He gets hit.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fully ripped. You see,
for sure. Just jacked and just destroys everything. And then like that, and then that energy like wipes out. So you've got to strategically figure out when you're going to use your like Kirby-Hulk. Do you know what I'm saying? Also, chat, Kirby-Hulk. Can you guys draw me a Kirby-Hulk? We'll put that on our Twitter page. All right. Do some thumbnail art. Come on, chat. Help me out here.
Twitter Kirby-Hulk is probably the name of the show. By the way,
and Kirby's a beat 'em up game.
Yeah, like
it'll be a beat 'em up game.
I'm here for it. Here's something that a lot of people aren't here for though. Transitioning, including Justin, because I just got to be honest, Justin, you're usually the one of us, like when I'm over here and I'm all doom and gloom, you're like, oh, hey, Marty, sure, let's cheer up. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
This week, Nintendo announced the new update for SNES and NES Online, and you took a big old dump all over it.
Yeah, I did. I just sent the gif of Ryan Reynolds asking, but why?
For those of you
I normally I probably have more fun doing the research in these notes that we don't go through half of this on the show anyway than I do actually playing the games.
So for those of you who haven't heard yet, 4 new games coming to SNES Online. Super Baseball Simulator 1000 or 1000. I always called it 1000 when I was a kid. I actually had a friend.
That's how it's pronounced in baseball. Yeah.
I actually had a friend who had this game. It was a very early Super NES title, and we loved it because in the game, it's actually in Japan. It's known as Super Ultra Baseball. Some of the players actually have superpowers, like they can throw a fastball with it turns into a fireball, or they can call down lightning and make a breaker ball that is really hard to hit. It's not the best baseball game, but at the time there was not. King Griffey wasn't out. None of that stuff was out. So this was it.
And this is the Super Nintendo version. So we're actually excited about this in the Baseball League channel in our Discord, possibly using it as
that's the one I played.
Oh, I thought you said NES because everybody was saying there's an NES version.
No, there was an NES version, but I think this was the one.
The NES version is what I played as a kid.
Okay.
Also coming is Joe and Mac, which is really interesting because Joe and Mac 2 is already on the NES Online, so they were going backwards. This is known in the in EU region as Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja. In Japan, Jesse, I love that you put all these details in. It's known as Joe and Mac Tatake Genshijin, which roughly translates to fight, primitive man. And this is not that bad a game, Justin. Joe and Mac, when it came out, was actually kind of a big deal. People really bought into this game, enjoyed it. Probably not as good now, like as it was back in the day, but it was a good try.
I do recall Joe and Mac, but like we're really scraping here. We're really falling down the barrel on the C tier.
We're going to get back to that here in just a minute, okay? Also coming out, Magical Drop 2, which is a Super Famicom only puzzle game. This has actually already been released on Arcade Archives by Hamster. And the Neo Geo version was released on the Wii Virtual Console. And then my personal favorite out of these four, Spanky's Quest.
Yes.
About a monkey who throws around bubbles that turn into sports equipment that hurt enemies.
That was the weirdest part of that trailer.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this game before.
I used to see advertisements for this game in Game Pro and EGM, and I always wanted to play it, and none of the places around had it or had it for rental. I'm fired up about Spanky's Quest.
Nice.
Is the name like a purposeful like innuendo? Like, do they intend to name the monkey Spanky?
Yeah, like this, just like, and okay. And I'm looking at the cover art. If you do a quick Google image of Spanky's Quest Snes, the cover art feels a little bit. And can I share my screen? I'm going to share my screen. Make your job easier. Oh wait, Jesse, can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you looking at the Game Boy version or the SNES?
Oh, I'm looking at the SNES version. Hold on a second.
There was a Game Boy version too.
I'll wait for Jesse.
Go ahead.
Okay,
wow.
Yeah. Let me just share. No, it says the host is denying it.
Okay, now try.
Killing me here. Okay, like come on now. Come on, right?
I'm just seeing a black screen. There it is.
Look at that. Like that does not feel like. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not like. I think this was someone trying to be a bit edgy during the 90s.
You got to get this off there. We're not dads after dark, okay?
Right.
There you go. So this is coming out. Also, NES is getting. I'm going to try to say this. Ninja Jaja Marukan, which was originally only released in Japan, surprise, but it was also on the Wii Virtual Console in the U.S., European region, and Japan in 2006 and 2007. It's also on the 3DS Virtual Console and Wii U Virtual Console in Japan. Ironically, Japan is also getting Taiketsu Brass Numbers, which is Doomsday Warrior in the U.S., and Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War.
Didn't we just talk about that game last week?
Yeah, I don't remember why, but I know we talked about that game last week.
We talked about that as part of the leaks from Zippo regarding the E3, and that was a game that was being localized to come over here. And it was going to be at E3 because it has not been brought to North America ever.
So I wonder if that's why we didn't get it.
Well, it's
never been localized.
These are never localized.
These have never been localized.
But like it gets released over there, they don't have to do any localization to it. So it's going to be a big surprise over here. I just feel like there's been a push for more past Fire Emblem games to show up.
Yeah.
It'll be a limited release, just like the last one.
Which sounds about right.
Right? Well, these are all out on May 26th. Yeah. If you want to torture yourself.
And Japan, because Japan's getting the two other games, they are not getting Super Baseball or Spanky.
Well, they'll get Spanky some other time. It'll be, You know what I think is interesting is here we are. We're how many years now into the NES and SNES Online? Like 2 years, right?
I think so.
And we are no longer getting any SP versions of NES games. Have you noticed that?
I did notice that.
We're not getting anything extra. It's like, I guess
I think they heard the negative feedback on those.
Yeah, I do too. I think that they probably looked at how much that was used and said we can put our energy elsewhere. Justin, I want to address something you said a minute ago about scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Sure.
Here's the thing. I think they're releasing third-party games that they know are not in a position to get released by another company, either because those current companies are not active or they don't exist anymore. They're able to get those because we're seeing a lot of games from Data East, from Jalico, Natsumi.
Well, I think they still have to have a rights owner give permission. If it's a dead company, I don't think they can just blindly release it.
But the point I'm making is they're not Capcom or Konami or even Square Enix to release collections.
No one's going to buy a Jalico collection.
So all the games that we are wanting are only being held up by third-party companies who refuse to do a collection of them. And my biggest culprit here is Square Enix. Square Enix is sitting on a treasure trove of SNES and Nintendo Final Fantasies that are going nowhere. That are, that they're translated. There's a Game Boy Advance version. There's even a mobile version of some of them, and they're doing nothing. Chrono Trigger is doing nothing. It's rotting. It's recently had I think it was its 20th anniversary. Nothing for Chrono Trigger, and the biggest one I think people are pointing out right now is Super Mario RPG. Personally, I think it's because Super Mario RPG is getting remade.
Wow, that's I never had a
bold claim.
Consider that, yes.
I think it's getting remade. I think Square and Nintendo are working on it.
Hey, I love it. Gino can finally come back.
I would love that. They update some of the systems, they update some of the graphics, sound, do the works on it. It would be fantastic. Introduces it to a new generation. I think that's why we haven't seen it. Let me rephrase that. I hope that's why we haven't seen it. I would love for that. But all of these games, and then people say, well, what about Earthbound? Earthbound was on the SNES Classic. Yeah, but what if they're saving that for something? That's all I'm saying. Do these updates, are they not as magical as they used to be? No, they're not. But what are you going to do? I mean, you're paying your money, you're getting to play online, you're getting access to online stuff. This is like the free bonus.
I'd love to see some data in regards to how many of these games are actually played after they've been brought over. Like, you have X amount of people who've subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online. How many people have played Spanky right after it's brought over? I think the problem with it, Marty, is really when they do this, what it does more than anything else is it shows the holes. Right. And that's the problem with it. You're like, here are the 5 things. And I understand your agreement about the companies. I totally get it. But then the argument is what you're really seeing is the holes, because they front loaded in the first several months all the games you wanted. Right. You got all the games you really wanted, all the big hitters, all your top 10s, top 15s, top 20s of those systems. And now you're really moving into the C tiers, but we all have these lists where there are massive holes in it. And so every time these show up that doesn't cover that, you're like, well, what about? And so it just really, I think it just highlights those problems. So,
right. So do you think that the strategy should have been from the beginning to slow down that initial huge drop and say, hey, this month you're getting Mario 1. In 2 months you're getting Mario 2.
I think what you do is you level it out, right? So every drop you have 2 A's, a B, and a C, 2 A's, an A, and a B, and a C, right? So that every time it's a little bit more eventful, and because now I think you're just in the C class. Andre, before we segue to our next portion here, as we talk about Nintendo Switch Online, do you think we're ever going to get more than just the SNES and NES?
There was a time when I had hope.
You had hope.
I think there will. I mean, eventually. I just don't know if it's going to be anytime soon or not. I would love for it to be, but at this point, I think they're going to ride that NES and Super NES train into the ground as long as they can.
Do you think that's a Switch Pro feature?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be.
New 3DS had the grip on Super Nintendo Virtual Console.
I think it'd be odd that they positioned it that way, just because that would confuse the branding between what the SNES of the NSO app itself, or the subscription itself rather. I think if they start separating between consoles, it's going to get a little bit more confusing. I think it's just simpler if if you pay for it, you get this. You don't need the Switch can play a 64 game, so it wouldn't make sense to lock it to the new Switch, I think. With that said, this is Nintendo, and they very well could.
That's a very good point.
And I don't think that we ever ever stated it, but this release is May 26th, so on Wednesday, this upcoming week.
Would you guys be interested if Nintendo came out and said, okay, you got your Nintendo games that you get in NSO, right, for $20 a year or $35 if you're doing the family plan. But for an additional $5 a month or $10 a month, you can get Company X's version of NSO games that they bring on every few months. You know, like say, you know, they have EA Play, right, for the bigger games that they added on to Microsoft. But let's say EA Play does a Nintendo version that allows them to bring their older games to NSO, but you have to pay an additional fee, obviously, kind of like you do, you know, if you're paying Ultimate Game Pass for Microsoft, you get the EA stuff. Or if you're going to Luna, if you're using Amazon's Luna, you pay for Ubisoft's license. You know, in addition to the $10 for Luna, you got to pay another $10 or $15 for Ubisoft stuff. So would you guys be open to doing that if, you know, Capcom comes over and says, okay, here's all our old games, or we'll be giving out our games in an NSO type style thing that you'll have access to, and EA will do theirs, and any other companies, Konami, you know, would you guys be open for that?
I think it depends on what the price is and what we get for that price. Because right now, I don't think any company really has that large of a library on Switch, you know, outside of Hamster's games, because they. But
yeah, but I mean,
it would be worth anything.
I could see an argument if they said something along the lines of "Welcome to Capcom Collection," right? And you get everything that Capcom has in their house since, you know, 1985, all the way up to, I don't know, 2020, you know, or 2010 or whatever. You get everything in between. Like, I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, for an extra $5 a month, you have access to all those games, or however, you know, whatever it's worth. So if it's Capcom, it might be a little bit more because they have a lot of games, you know, which may include that Disney Saturday morning cartoon thing, right? So that could be part of that collection, right? Mean, so
that's just easy clickbait for me.
I've got it. If a version doesn't exist yet, then they still have to make an emulator or port it to that supports all the games, right. And that's why I don't think I agree they have a good number of games. I just don't know if they have enough to say $5 a month is worth it for me.
Well, it's possible too. They could just work with Nintendo, and Nintendo brings it onto their platform already. That's already built there for the Super Nintendo. They start bringing those Super Nintendo games over from those companies, but you have to pay an additional add-on to bring on.
Well, still, the emulator may have to be tweaked if Capcom's using chips on their carts that Nintendo doesn't use. Then the emulator's got to be updated to support those new chips.
Thought Nintendo made all those carts, and it was the company that just gave them the software to put on those carts.
Yeah.
So, but my point, I know there's logistics. Obviously, there's a lot of logistics. My point
cart
is
technology isn't just like, here's, you know.
I'm not concerned about logistics. I'll let somebody smarter than me figure that out. I just want to know, would you pay extra money to have access to the other libraries?
Yes.
Sure.
And yes, I would be one of those people.
Okay.
Like adding a channel. It's like, hey, I've already got Netflix, but or Hulu does this. They're like, hey, you can get Hulu, but you can also get ESPN, and you can get something else. And you just you get Disney Plus, and you can add all of these together, right?
Exactly.
I'm all for it. Give me the full package of games on demand. Yeah, and it'll be just like Netflix in my house. A ghost town that we never visit.
Let's move on.
So
Xbox Game Pass.
I'm glad you said that, Justin. So E3's coming up, and again, we're on the road to E3. And Andre, you are our first stop or our first guest on the road to E3. But before we get to E3, Summer Game Fest is also kicking off on June 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And one of the main reasons we're getting you guys to come on the show over the next few weeks is to kind of talk about your hopes or dreams or predictions for what we're going to see during the summer's or really the year's biggest week or 2 weeks of gaming. And so with that, we're just going to turn it over to you, man. What, like, with Nintendo not having a schedule set, with really no one having a schedule set, other than companies that companies are saying, hey, we're going to go on this day. And they're very few and far between. What do you expect? Like, what are your hopes? What do you think we're going to see at E3? Go.
Yeah, I mean, this whole year is going to be weird. I mean, we missed E3 last year because there wasn't one, and this year there is a somewhat of a return to one, but it's entirely digital. So, as one on the media side of things, it's going to be especially weird. It might be less weird for people who just watch from home, but you're not going to get much in the way of like hands-on impressions of these games or off-screen footage, for instance. So yeah, it's going to be different, and because of that, I don't really know what to expect. Like, we're probably still feeling the ramifications of the pandemic. So who knows how that might have affected this year's E3, not just in terms of how they're presenting games, but also the games that they'll be showing off too. We don't fully know like how that's affected Nintendo's lineup, for instance. With that said, I of course still hope it's going to be a great show. I hope we get some big hitters here. And my personal number one, putting aside the obvious ones like, Breath of the Wild 2 is probably going to be there. But my number one hope now is based on the recent rumors. I want to know what this new Donkey Kong game is about. I want to see this. I'm a huge fan of Tropical Freeze and the whole Donkey Kong series in general. And I want to see this, a new Donkey Kong game from the Mario Odyssey team, effectively. And I'm stoked for it. So I'm hoping that's going to appear here.
Okay. And so, yeah, if you didn't join us on the show last week, the rumor is that a new Donkey Kong 3D game is being developed by the same team that worked on Mario Odyssey. Obviously, they've been pretty quiet since Odyssey, which is kind of weird. They've had every opportunity to do Odyssey 2, or I'm starting to see people on the internet call this Mario Iliad. For following up the Odyssey. But anyway, yeah, man, and I know Justin is super stoked about any possibility of a new Donkey Kong game. I'll be honest, they could put any character in the Odyssey. If it's as buttery smooth as Odyssey was, as far as gameplay and just, it's all there. Odyssey was one of those games for me that was like a complete package, like killer gameplay, fantastic visuals, great sound. If they could do that with Donkey Kong, they'd do it with Kirby. They do it with whatever.
That might be a Donkey Kong game I might actually play like that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm pumped for that. So Andre's got a win in my books. Like, check. Yep, yeah. I agree with him.
So any bets that we're seeing that Star Fox racing game this year?
I'm convinced it doesn't exist. I wish it would, though. I actually thought the idea sounded awesome. I'm like, why not try something new with Star Fox? I'm down for that. That sounds cool.
I mean, nobody else is trying anything for Star Fox, right? I mean, anyway, Summer Game Fest is going to kick off on June 10th. This is Jeff Keighley's yearly kind of thing. It's actually what he did last year when E3 didn't happen. And so now that E3 is coming back, he was kind of like, well, guess what? We're going to have it anyway. And we're going to start it 2 days earlier. I have looked, what's ironic about this, guys, is I've looked at the list of companies and publishers and everything that have signed on to be a part of this. The missing glaring omission is Nintendo. Microsoft's there. Sony's there. A lot of the big AAA devs are there. A lot of indie developers are there. No Nintendo. What is going on with that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit odd. I mean, Nintendo has a relationship with Jeff, right? There's no doubt about that. We've seen them show up at the Game Awards. So that makes sense. I don't know if maybe they're just like, no, we just want to contain our messaging, right? And remember, Nintendo is very particular about their messaging, about how they message it, when they message it. They're very much a controller on that, right? And I think if you look at the E3 wrapper that's kind of put around it, Nintendo's beat or whatever that's going to be when it is finally announced, and Andre, you were talking about before, will be very similar to probably what we've seen them before. Hey, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, tune in for a 60-minute direct where we're going to show you this. And that's their moment. That's it. That's all they're going to do. Maybe they'll do a Treehouse Live afterwards where they show off more stuff, but they're very contained in their messaging. So, I don't think they would say, well, we're going to parcel off this one thing here and we'll use that for Jeff's event. They are not that way. Here's our message. Here's a direct straight from us. So there's no kind of weird, fracturing of that. They're very consistent in that. And so I'm not shocked that they're not appearing here. That does not mean, let me just be very clear here, though. That does not mean that the other vendors is the word I'm using, companies, sorry, there we go, that will be associated with Summer Game Fest do not have content that's landing on Nintendo, right? If you look at that list of companies, I'm sure there's gonna be somebody who's like, oh yeah, it's also coming to the Switch. It just means you're not hearing directly from Nintendo during Summerfest, Game Fest.
Yeah. This is what's frustrating is that those two these two things, or any of the shows, the events this summer, is not aligning, not doing things to make it easier for the gamers. It's just competition. And it doesn't make sense. It makes sense, I guess, from a business standpoint, but as a fan, as a gamer, I want it to be, let's play nice. Obviously, Ubisoft is already showing their show in both platforms, in both areas, in both the Summer Game Fest and in E3. So why can't Nintendo do that? Why can't the others do that? Why can't it just be, okay, Jeff, you start yours off these days, and then E3 is going to take over in their few days there, and Jeff can piggyback off of that or be a partner with E3 to show that, and then continue on as Summer Game Fest through the rest of the summer after E3 is done with their part. That's the thing I don't understand. I should back up again. I understand, but as a gamer, as a fan, I want to see it, just be play nice, make it easy for me as a gamer to go to one place to see it all, and follow.
The one place to see it all, I think, is the problem. Having two shows basically overlapping each other kind of breaks that.
It's only overlapping with the Ubisoft thing, and that's shown in both places. I didn't see anything else that was overlapping.
Yeah, is it going to be the same thing twice, or is it going to be two different presentations?
It's just showing it in two different locations. It depends on where you want to watch it.
I was saying Nintendo doesn't need Keighley. Nintendo doesn't even need the ESA. Nintendo can Nintendo on their own. But I think if there was a gap between the two events, then Nintendo might be more inclined to do both. But I think I agree with Nintendo, if this is their thinking, is we want to focus on one event and one event only.
Andre, what do you...
They've known when E3 is since last year. They've known when Keighley's event is since 3 days ago. Yeah.
Andre, what do you think of this?
I pretty much agree. I even myself as a consumer, like I'm, from a consumer perspective, I'm confused about why even the Summer Game Fest is happening around this time. Like, it just seems like it's a confusing time. Especially with everything being online already, it's just going to all kind of like merge together anyway into one like giant event. Maybe that's Keighley's goal. I don't know. There was a timing issue. Maybe, with E3 possibly being up in the air until relatively recently, maybe Keighley was planning on just continuing Game Fest or the Summer Game Fest again this year. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's pre-existing agreements. I don't fully get it. I think it makes sense for Nintendo to stick to one event, just to keep the messaging on point. As I think it was Jesse who was saying, it doesn't really matter, where they do it. Like, they can do their own thing. They don't need anyone. They can do their own thing if they want to, and people would pay attention to it. So, yeah. But I think Nintendo's just sticking with what's worked before, and that's been at E3.
I agree. Hey, let's dive a little bit more into E3. Jesse, do you got a bumper? Or for let's discuss or rumors or something? Perfect. Well, and of course, as we mentioned, Andre's here to give us some more rumors. And of course, he's or not rumors, I apologize, his predictions about E3. Maybe he knows rumors we don't. But Andre, you hit us first with Donkey Kong Country, right? You're hoping for that. I support that. What else do you got in your magical bag of wishes and hopes and dreams for E3?
Mario plus Rabbids 2.
Nice. Yes, That is definitely on my list as well. You think that one's coming
Someone
back,
in the chat also mentioned that.
I think so, because there were some rumblings a little while ago of it possibly being in the works. I think it makes sense. It seemed to be it was a big success. We saw it rank highly on the recent Nintendo sales data. So it would be silly not to make a sequel, and we're far enough out at this point that it will make sense. I think we're 3 years removed from 4 already. Yeah, look at that. We've already had they've already did a pseudo sequel with Donkey Kong with the form of the DLC.
Yeah,
I think it's been long enough that we could have a proper full game being announced now, and I would love to see what they could do by taking an established formula and now just running with it. Right? They proved it worked. Now let's see what else they can do with it.
And Ubisoft has been seeing some pretty good sales on the Switch as well. Obviously, Mario and Rabbids was a huge seller for it. Starlink, not so much. But even as you transition over something like Gods and Monsters, that did quite well on the Switch as well. So Ubisoft is seeing that financial kind of benefit from that. I'm not shocked. And of course, they're Just Dance games they release every year. So I suspect Just Dance 2022 is probably on your list as well. We'll give you that for the bingo card, as it is every year. So yeah, I think that's a great one. Yeah, do you think that's going to be announced at Ubisoft, or do you think it's going to be their event, or do you think Nintendo's going to announce that one?
I think it'd probably be a Ubisoft thing again. I assume it'd be just like last time. They're the publisher, they would handle the announcement of it.
Yeah, for sure. Jesse
announced a few weeks ago that they wanted to focus more on using their high-end IP towards the free-to-play games. My first thought was, well, that kind of shoots Rabbids 2 out the window, unless they've already had this in the works. If it's not released soon, it probably won't be.
Yeah, I think Ubisoft would be very happy to continue working with Nintendo, right? And I think definitely the work that team did for Mario and Rabbids kind of justifies continuing that relationship, specifically in that franchise, right? Again, Starlink, Star Fox, I believe that's something to be debated. Andre, what else you got in that bag of tricks?
What I want is there's a few anniversaries this year. It's Zelda's 35th, of course, Metroid's 35th, not that matters to Nintendo. But it's also Donkey Kong's 40th. And I think as part of this new Donkey Kong game, we could possibly get a full-on HD update of the original Donkey Kong arcade game, much in the vein of like Pac-Man Championship Edition or, any of those HD updates of those classics. So I would love to see that rolled out as part of the whole Donkey Kong.
For that.
So do you think it's like a Donkey Kong 99?
No, I don't think it's a Donkey Kong 99. I'd be down with that too.
Just using 3D models instead of pixels,
yeah, pretty much, exactly. Okay. Yeah, like there's just an updated version of the original Donkey Kong, with a few modern twists. Like it's not a pixel for pixel remake. It's a fresh feeling version of the classic Donkey Kong game.
Is it like Donkey Kong 96 where you can do backflips onto the next girder?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, I'll take it.
I would be all for that. That was a fantastic game.
That was a dubstep music in the background.
Oh, no.
All right. Excellent. I like those predictions. Anything else you want to share?
I think we are overdue for a new Nintendo racing game. We've had Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that wasn't even new. And I think that's it. I don't think we've had any other first-party racing games. I'm predicting we will see another racing game, and you know what? I'll go all in. I think there's a chance it could be Wave Race, but I'm hoping it will be F-Zero. F-Zero 70. 35 is too little, 99 is too much. I think F-Zero 70 will land right in the middle, and I can even see the font like doing some cool thing with a 7 looking like part of the Z in Zero. Nice. Yeah.
So do you see that as opposed to something like Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart whatever?
I think Mario Kart 9 would probably end up on whatever the next Switch is, whether it's Switch Pro or Switch 2 or whatever else. So I think we're probably still at least a year out from that.
Interesting. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Racing game, F-Zero?
I like it.
Wave Race? All right.
I'd be all in for F-Zero, even if it was just online, like the 70 type thing like he's talking about. It's way overdue.
That's right. Online F-Zero. Come on.
I'm still pulling for my F-Zero pitch, where Captain Falcon is trying to raise money for his ramen noodles restaurant.
Yes.
But, so your game has 70
racers.
Yes.
So your game will have 70 racers where 65 of them can't make the first turn and they fall off the edge?
Yes.
Bingo. I like it. All right. I'll get anything else there.
Based on the recent online update, I am predicting that Mario Party will get DLC.
Ooh.
New boards. Finally getting new boards. New characters. It'll be like almost a DLC expansion pack for Mario Party.
Okay. So you don't think they're going to come up with so just so I'm clear, maybe some clarity on this. You do not think there is a Mario Party 2 or whatever you want to call it? This is theirs for the system, right? This is the one. That's
exactly it. They used to have the annual model with them. They abandoned it, strangely enough. And I think in this case, I would have predicted it being Mario Party 2 originally, but based on the fact they updated the original game, now, 3 years old? Guys, lost all track of time. Multiple years old. Yeah, 2.5 years. There were no other updates to the game. They didn't have really much in the way of online originally, but they did this massive update to it. I think there's a chance they're going to treat it as a platform now and finally give us the DLC it deserved all this time.
Nice. Okay. I like it. The chat is yelling at me. I have to ask this question, Andre. Is it on your list? Do we get a Smash reveal? And if so, who?
Oh, yeah. Totally getting Smash reveal. As for who, I have no idea. We're at the point now. It's like most of the big characters are there. What's left? I'm seeing the chat going all in on Crash. I would love Crash.
I'm going to say this. Nintendo has put out way too many new Waluigi renders. Why would they do that? Why? I mean,
why not?
Right? It's Waluigi. It's going to happen.
I hope so.
Finally
I love it.
And it's. I mean, what other character can you promote your new golf game with?
Well, we talked about this, Marty. We were saying that they're still going to do their 2 that they have left, but as a surprise, here's the last character that everybody gets for free. It's going to be Waluigi.
Here's my guess for the next Smash character. Pac-Man's getting lonely and being the only Namco rep, so he's going to bring in his buddy Mappy.
There we go. Oh, although Mappy already appears, though, when you use his projectile in his hand.
True.
That actually did remind me, though. It's going all in on the 40th anniversary thing with Donkey Kong. It's time for Dixie to officially enter Smash Brothers. So let's have it be Dixie announced at E3 for Smash.
Is Dixie just a reskin, like an option model for Diddy? No, or is it a full character?
Full on character,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to bring her hair into it. You can't just remap that to Diddy. So yeah. And I want a Tot that plays the guitar. So
yeah, I'm still rooting for the Konami man from Track and Field. I've been saying that since before Smash launched.
Yes.
Every time you say that, I have no words for you on that. I just can't.
It's fun to have you have no words.
Yeah. What else you got there, Andre?
Very often.
That's that
the
might
list?
be it. Yeah, that's the main stuff. The rest is obvious. All
right.
I don't think we'll see any Splatoon 3 here.
No.
I think there's a small chance we'll actually get a glimpse of Metroid Prime 4. If we do, it won't be much. It'll be a glimpse, and they'll save that for either later this year or next year. I think the focus is going to be on Breath of the Wild 2 this time.
Yeah. And you think we're getting in 2021? Breath of the Wild 2?
That's what I'm not less sure about. I think, I actually don't know. If I had to guess, I think it actually might be next year. I think it might be an early title for next year. But sure. I would love to be wrong on that. I would love for it to release this year, especially with it being the 35th anniversary. But I don't think that would affect its release date or not.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask it, or Tim probably will, so I'll ask it for you. So you mentioned we might get a glimpse of Metroid Prime 4.
Yep.
Do you think we hear about a Metroid Prime trilogy or a new 2D Metroid platformer that there's been rumors about?
I think, one or the other. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Metroid announcement for sure. We had there was a recent news from a retro developer who worked there 10 years ago or something, who kind of quashed the idea of there being a port based on the difficulty of it happening. I mean, I'm sure that's true, but I think if they wanted to, they can make it happen. And I would be surprised if it doesn't happen at this point. So I hope that there is a trilogy, if not at this E3 at some point. But yeah, if not that, I think we will get a new 2D Metroid. Metroid Prime 4 isn't going to be the only Metroid we get for the next year.
Yeah, games have used motion controls on the Switch. It's not as accurate as the Wii U, and it flakes out a lot, but it can work if if given a fast recalibrate, like Pikmin did.
Yep. Mario Galaxy and 3D All-Stars.
They're bringing Skyward Sword over, so that was one everybody was worried about with motion controls. And then the other argument for the port is that they could just, you're right, they might not be bringing the port. They could be doing a remaster for each one of those. So
could be, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent, Andre. Thank you for your list, gentlemen. Do you have any, let's add to Andre's list? Do you have anything that's kind of out there as well you want to add? Obviously, we're doing this whole road to E3. We're going to have spattered predictions. I've got some predictions, but I'm focusing them not on Nintendo necessarily, but more like third-party support. Anyone else got any other predictions they want to throw?
I haven't really thought of any yet because I still have my eyes on the Dragon Quest announcement next week. So maybe next week I might have ideas once the Dragon Quest announcements are done.
Yeah, no, I get that. One big thought of the week for you. I get that. I appreciate that. Okay. Anyone else? Tim, anything? Oh, Marty. I heard a squeak out of you.
That we're going to see something from Capcom Mega Man related.
Oh, doesn't Capcom typically have like their own event though? Like in like Q3? Did they do like a little Capcom Presents? Am I wrong?
Not that I remember.
They did something for Mega Man's anniversary when they did Mega Man 11.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I say this is because Mega Man 11 did sell pretty well, and they said there would be more, but we just haven't heard anything.
Okay.
So it could be X. It could be. There were rumors of a new X coming along. Maybe the pandemic delayed that or whatever, but I'd just like to see something.
Yeah. All right. Tim, got anything?
Not from third parties yet, because I have to think about that a little bit more myself. Okay. But I'm more excited about what Mercury Steam has up their sleeve, if anything. So,
yeah. Okay. All right, I got a couple. Andre actually stole my one with Mario and Rabbids 2.
That's what I
believe we're going to hear that one. Okay. My next one is I believe we will see an Overcooked 3 be announced by Team of 17 out later this year. And I believe we're going to have at least 2 more additions to the cloud gaming infrastructure. And I believe one of them is Assassin's Creed Valhalla from Ubisoft. And I believe the second one is Star Wars Fallen Jedi. The heck's that one?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Yeah, I believe we're going to see those as additions to the cloud gaming. Those are my bets.
Yeah, those seem like pretty decent bets, I think. Those will probably happen.
There you go. Anyone want to challenge me on that one? No.
That was part of my 2021 predictions, the Jedi Fallen Order anyway.
Yeah, I'm starting to get on the bandwagon with you. I'm really looking at what Stadia's got in their catalog and be like, yeah, that's going to come over. That's going to come over.
Yes.
Right now that Super Bomberman R has broken the floodgates of games from Stadia coming over, I think we're going to see some more of those as well.
I do think there might be another game that EA will bring over. I mean, I know there's still a couple more games that they said they were going to bring in that original 7, I think it was. Mm-hmm. That they're still going to talk about, but I think the racing games do really well, and they might bring over some more of those. And for me personally, I think would be really cool is if they brought over like a Burnout trilogy, like compilation or something. I think that would be really cool instead of just the Paradise. I know we got Paradise, but just I think the Burnout trilogy with the bonus Burnout Crash, that was a pretty cool game too. So
I love that. Yes,
yeah.
I want to play Burnout 3 again.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the one I've been wanting them to remake like forever. It's fantastic.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've got some good stuff going on here. All right, Marty, did you want to take over again?
Yeah, that'll be fine. I think it's time for us to talk about some events, right?
Let's do it.
For our events this week, we're going to throw it over to Sportscaster Tim with an update on the Nintendo Dads Sportsball League. So, Tim, take it away.
Thanks, Marty. I've got some news here. I'm at Little Caesars Arena here in Detroit, where we've had a few hockey games from our Nintendo Dads Hockey League that we got going on in the Discord, and just give you guys an update on what's been going on there. That and for anybody who wants to join, if you come join us in Discord, we have a hockey league going on for several weeks, and then there'll be some playoffs. But we're in week 3 actually, and let's see. The league has completed its 3rd week of games. The goal scoring numbers have been high, and I don't know if the teams can keep it up. It has been nothing but razzle dazzle, and sometimes lopsided too. And I'll admit to that. I've been getting my butt beat in the playing the ice hockey on NSO. So that's the game we've been playing in our hockey league series. So week 3 saw Crazy Greek Dre earn a decisive victory over Bruce, 17-7. And then Chris HL94 earned his first victory of the season, 15-10 over Santirod 64. And then Drew continued his winning ways with the victory over me, Neo Prime 33. And then Zablanc had a bye week this week. So, and then going into this week, we'll have some more updates, and going into next week, we'll have more scores. So a quick look at the standings. We have Crazy Greek Dre and Drew at the top with undefeated records. And then again, next week we'll have results. And always remember, if you want to join in on any of the leagues, because we're going to be starting up a baseball league. Like I said, we're actually looking at that Super NES game we were just talking about, the baseball one, Super Baseball Simulator, is possibly using that one because we want to try to make it easy for everybody to get involved with the leagues. So we're trying to use games that are either free or easily accessible. So with that drop in there, that might be something we're going to check out. But if you want to be part of the baseball league, or we're talking about doing a basketball league and then a football league when football season starts, and then currently the hockey, come join us in the Discord and come join our teams. So back to you, Marty.
Thank you, Tim. And that does it for our events this week. Let's talk about what we've been playing.
Do it.
Well, as tradition is here on the Nintendo Dads podcast, our guests always go first. So, Andre, we'd love to hear. I know you've already talked a little bit about Oculus that you have been playing, but what else have you been playing lately?
That you can talk about that's not embargoed.
No, that's true.
So the online update for Super Mario Party actually totally rejuvenized that game for me. Like, I've been playing it a bunch with friends online. It's been a ton of fun. So we've had like nightly board game night virtually, basically. Speaking of the Oculus, I haven't just been playing Puzzle Bobble rather, VR, but I've also been playing or revisiting Half-Life Alyx. I think I mentioned before the show, I was showing my dad the game, but before that, I'd gone back into it and just replaying it. There's a new commentary mode now, so I've been listening to the developers talk about the making of the game, which I find fascinating, with them trying to make it work in VR. And I think that actually is pretty much all I've been playing. Oh, besides, of course, new Pokemon Snap, though I think I'm winding down on that one. I think I've basically seen everything I need to. So yeah, that's been the highlights I've been into recently.
Andre, as we're talking about what we've been playing, let me ask you, what game are you the most hyped for in 2021?
It actually is probably of the games that we know about right now. Well, I'm just confirming. It probably is Game Builder Garage. I'm actually really excited to be able to like make games, share games, and play other people's games. So that actually has been really, like, I was a huge Mario Maker fan, especially on Wii U, and I hope that this taps into that same kind of energy, that it could be a really great experience. We didn't even know about it until a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. This is of course assuming this is the games we know about for sure. If Breath of the Wild 2 were this year for sure, I would probably be going with that. So, and of course, if this new Donkey Kong game ends up being 2021, and I'm absolutely probably going to be most excited for that. But
Andre, quick question for you too, as well, in regards to that garage game. Would you consider that Labo 2.0 or not at all, because it has nothing to do with cardboard?
I assume Nintendo's perspective is that has nothing to do with Labo. For me though, I mean, it basically is. Like, I mean, the core of this game was already in Labo VR. There was a mode just like this. Just less user-friendly, and you couldn't share the game, so it made it kind of pointless. So yeah, this is effectively Labo in a different skin, from what I can tell. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I was a big Labo fan, especially of Labo VR. So I think it's cool that they're breathing new life into a mode that felt kneecap from the beginning because you couldn't share your creations online. So I'm glad it's getting a second lease of life in this new form.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you very much.
Okay, Tim, fine. You can have that as a point. We can say fine, put it in the records that, Tim, you get a point for that one. All right.
Oh, boy.
Well, thank you, Andre. Appreciate that. Tim, since you just connived your way into a point for our year predictions, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
All right. So to start off, I've been playing some more Animal Crossing, believe it or not. But it's basically because I decided to, my whole family's got their own Animal Crossing game. So we didn't come together, like they offer. If you're sharing a Switch, you can have up to, 3 other people on your island. We didn't do that. So I decided to go ahead and create another using one of my profiles that I have for like testing. If I get a European code, then, I use the European account. So I'm using that account and created another islander on my island that I already had built for 2 reasons. One, to see what it was like, because I heard other people doing that. Like Justin, I think you guys do that in your family where you guys share an island.
Yeah.
So,
that's hell.
Well, I'm just sharing it with myself with my other profile. But there's the other reason why I'm doing it is so that when Red has more than one real art item, I can actually use that second character to get that second item that I need. So because they haven't unlocked that ability, so to for us to buy more than one art item. So
at least Tim's second character doesn't run the risk of like shaking all the trees down like Justin's daughters do.
True. Or
monsters. They're absolute monsters.
Right. So, but that was actually interesting to see that yellow tent appear on my island again, after over a year's time not seeing that. So but still placing the yellow tent on an island that's already got a full set of characters on there and fully developed and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of got me interested in Animal Crossing again, even though some of the things are repeating. I still get to see it through this character's new eyes, but with still having the benefits of a completed island. So that's interesting. I'm playing also Drive-By, and actually these next 3 games I'm talking about are videos that I have up on the Nintendo Dads channel. If they're not up already, they will be soon. But Drive-By is one of the games I'm playing. It's an online 4-player car combat game. And it's actually a lot of fun. It's very simple, and it may turn people off by looking at how simple it is. But I had a lot of fun playing Drive-By, especially when playing online competitively against 3 other players. Essentially, there's like 3 modes you can play. There's a coin collect. You're in a car. You get power-ups like you do, say, Mario Kart, where you take the other drivers out. But there's a coin collect battle where you have to collect the most coins in the game, in the course or on the board. And then you get power-ups to knock out the other player and try to steal their coins. So by the end of the time limit, if you got the most coins, you win that battle, and you get experience points to move up in your levels. And the levels are kind of like Fortnite-esque, where right now we're in season 1, even though you don't play for free and then buy a battle pass in this game, you buy the game still. I think it's $25 right now. But you do progress in the season by leveling up. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they release like a season 2 in the game. And since you've already paid for the game, I'm hoping you don't have to pay for any DLC. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But anyways, there's you collect coins, and there's another one where you're actually delivering like Amazon packages in a way, where you have to go pick up a bunch of packages and deliver them to various people on the board, kind of crazy taxi like, where you're going to those locations where those people are dropping off their packages, and the most deliveries you make, again, you get you win that game after the time is up. Of course, you get the power-ups, take out other people, take away their packages, and deliver their packages for them, and then you get the points. And again, you are the winner if you have the most packages. And then the other one is kind of like a keep away game, where it's keep away the piggy bank. So basically, you're carrying this giant piggy bank through the board that slows you down, but every now and then you get a boost that you can get away quickly from if people are starting to swarm you and try to get that piggy bank. The longer you have the piggy bank, again, you win the board and you get the experience and stuff like that. So again, it's a lot of fun. It's very simple. Only up to 4 people right now. You're battling against 3 other people, but simple but fun. So I encourage you guys to check out the video, and if you're interested in that type of thing, especially because I love car combat games, especially racing games in general, but car combat like Twisted Metal. That's probably the closest I'll get to Twisted Metal on a Nintendo game, unless somebody else comes out with another car combat game. But it's a lot of fun. Next one I've been playing is RWBY Grimm Eclipse Definitive Edition. That's been out on other systems, but recently just came out on the Nintendo Switch, the Definitive Edition, which has all the DLC that came out with the other consoles. And that's basically a hack and slash game. And it's very interesting how it goes about its campaigns, because you can go in, you can play with people. Again, this is a lot of fun playing with other people online. That's when I had the most fun. When I tried to play the campaign by myself, it wasn't as fun as if I was playing with other people. So when I was doing the streaming on this game, some people joined in, and actually I streamed for a lot longer than I expected with this game because of how fun it was. And basically you're going through the campaign of clearing out the Grimm on these boards or on these levels to basically clear the level and keep it safe from all these Grimms that are on there. Now, RWBY, if you're not familiar, is based on an American anime show that's free on YouTube. You can actually go there, and I actually added them to my my playlist or watch list.
Published by Rooster Teeth.
Yes. And I actually forgot about that because I remember several years ago seeing the trailers for each of the characters. It was like, oh, this looks cool. And then never got around to watching this show, this RWBY show. But
the show's still going. I think
8 seasons.
This recent season was season 8.
Yes. So it's been going for 8 seasons, and they have quite a few games, it looked like, from when I was doing some research on it. But this is just a hack and slash, and there's certainly some button combinations you can do, but it was a lot of fun playing with other people online, getting through the stages. And again, seems simple, but it's fun. So I recommend checking out the video, at least if you want to see what it looks like. And then last but not least is, and Marty, you've been playing this as well, Aerial Knights Never Yield. I played the demo. We shared a video of that. I also did a video of this one. It's developers from Detroit. I'm from Detroit, so I had to support it. But I'm happy to say that it's a great game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The music is phenomenal. They do have the soundtrack available for people to buy now, which we were asking when the demo was out. So, which is really cool. And I won't go too much into it since Marty's going to be talking about it, and I've talked quite enough about games, so I'll leave that to Marty. Go ahead, Marty, and on to you.
Yeah, so we can just talk about this here. I love this game for a whole slew of reasons. One of which being that, I love the music in this game is so good. It's some jazzy, lo-fi, hip hop in some places. It's fast paced in others. It's kind of trip hop. I just love I hope there's a soundtrack. I know there's one on vinyl that you can buy, but I would love to just have one to stream.
If you go to aerialknight.com, he's got a link that takes you to where you can get the vinyl, but it also has a download that comes with it.
There's a Bandcamp link.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yep. So you can do that. It's a really simple game, so much so that you can play it one-handed. You can play it either with the directional pad, or you can play it with the buttons, with each one being a direction. Up is jump, left is or the Y button is like a somersault kind of mid jump thing. B is a slide. A speeds you up, and so there's this whole story going on. You kind of get dropped into it in the beginning where you're this guy who has been experimented on, kind of, and he busts out of the lab where he's been experimented on. He's got a robot leg that allows him to run fast, and so all these like people from the facility are chasing him, and there's a soundtrack going on, and there's kind of a rhythm game aspect to it. But it does
still sounds
allow
like Pit Trip Runner.
But here's the thing: once you get close to the obstacles, it slows down so that you're able to take a minute and kind of decide what you're going to do.
Okay.
And so even for like people who aren't that great at runners and things, like I feel like it's a lot more accessible for them. And overall, just a really cool package, and it's neat to support the developer of the game, Aerial Knight. And I think it's a fun game. I'm about 3 or 4 stages into it. Yeah. So that's what Tim's been playing. Justin, there's a blinking cursor where the games that you're playing should have been.
I have been playing nothing.
You've been playing Fortnite.
No.
No Apex?
Apex, yes. But I figured we didn't want to talk about that anymore. I felt like we were probably done with it. I just didn't feel good about
You're
it.
not playing anything but what you're playing normally.
Correct. So I don't feel like I add value to this conversation anyway.
Perfect.
But I will say today we got a review code for a game called Pathway that is coming to the Nintendo Switch next week. And I took that code, so I'll have some coverage of that. So there are actually some more games. We're starting to ease up into games that I'm interested in now. We've got Knockout City coming out tomorrow. I'm super interested in that. So I do expect some more coverage and content from me beyond just Apex, because I think people are getting bored of me talking about that. Speaking of things I'm never bored of talking or listening to, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Dragon Quest or Picross. The game I played we got this as a review code a few weeks ago, and I kind of finally got around to playing it. I did a stream of it. I think it was Monday night. Angels with Scaly Wings. It's like visual novel dating sim type of game, where in this one, a portal is found into another world. That the other side of the portal is a world of sentient dragons. And you are, as like an information exchange, you are chosen as an Earth's ambassador to go to their side and, not negotiate, because that's already been done through like written letters through the portal, but to see that the trade that was agreed on gets handled properly. And while you're there, there's a murder, so you're gonna have to deal with that in addition to then choosing who you want to spend time with in your off time, like your traditional dating sim. So I've only gone through the first chapter, so it was like an hour and a half. I haven't gotten into chapter 2 yet, but I'm liking it so far. I plan on getting more into it when I have this weekend when I have more time. Before like the 3 games that come out next week, I'll come out. That's all awesome. I got.
So I just wanted to quickly mention a game that I've been playing this week because it got a brand new update, and that is Boomerang Foo, which got an update this week called the Grilling Spree Updates, which added brand new levels and 2 brand new characters and costumes to the game. If you're not familiar with Boomerang Foo, you play an assortment of food items like coffee and toast and milk, bacon, watermelon, all these random assorted foods and vegetables and all kinds of stuff that are very cute, but also deadly because they're throwing razor sharp boomerangs at each other, trying to kill each other in these booby trapped levels. And it's basically like Last Man Standing wins. And it's there's several modes. The first being everybody for themselves. It's based on the amount of kills you get. Whoever gets the biggest amount, it's a set number of kills. Whoever gets the most first wins. Then there's a team up mode that's kind of the same. And then there's a golden boomerang, which is basically keep away with you grab a golden boomerang and you try to stay alive until you get a point. It's stupid. But it's utterly charming. And it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite party games on the Switch. And I think you need to try it. I love the new characters, Hot Sauce and Cheeseburger. And there's a promise, I think, of more to come. And this update actually adds unlockables, like all the costumes and characters and stuff are unlockable as you play. It's a fantastic couch co-op game because it really uses like 3 buttons, and anybody can pick it up and play it. Kids, grandparents, your wife, whoever. And it's easy to get into. It's hard to put down. I've played at least 2 matches a night every night this week with my kids. It's just been a blast. So Boomerang Foo, new updates out now, and the update's free. And
the game's on sale for $6.
Oh, then it's even way more of a thing. Absolutely. Yes.
The normal price is $15, so that's almost
there you go.
Like 60% off.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, guys, that's what we've been playing. Let's flip on the community spotlight real quick. And when we have a guest on the show, our community spotlight first focuses on our guest. And so André Segers from Game Explained, really a lot of people who watch our show and listen to our show, you need no introduction to them. But we want our folks to know where they can find you, what you're up to. So just, man, chat us up about who you are, what you do, where our folks can find your work.
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well already. I'm Andre from Game Explained. We cover all kinds of gaming-related things, but we are primarily Nintendo-focused. We do a lot of discussions, analysis videos, just all kinds of videos, reviews, previews, things of that nature. With E3 coming up, we'll have, hopefully a lot of coverage from the show or of the show. And we have some features coming up that I think are pretty fun, E3-related, especially if you're a Nintendo fan. So those should be running, if not this weekend, very soon, probably over the course of next week or two. So it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So just type in Game Explained in Google. Should take you right there. Or YouTube.
Awesome.
YouTube would be better, but...
Yeah, make sure you head over to, obviously, their YouTube channel. Give them a subscribe. They have some of the best Nintendo video game news, as Andre said, is specifically Nintendo in regards to kind of if you're looking for, hey, a trailer just dropped and some breakdowns, some good analysis, understanding of the things that's in there, just some great content out of there as well. We're so happy that we've had an opportunity to kind of connect with you over the last 7 years and support that as well. I think it's been great stuff on there. So congratulations to you and your entire team.
Thank you.
Yeah, great content over there. So you guys, please go and check it out. Question this week from our email comes from Mecha Dragon 101. He asked us this: let's keep this creative train going. If you guys were able to pitch your own Nintendo Dads anime, what anime trope will each of you have? Also, who would you get to do your anime opening and closing? Jesse?
I defer all my answers to Jesse. I'm out.
Yeah, like I don't watch anime. So
yeah, I think I'm the only one.
Jesse, it is
anime.
your job in the next minute to plan the perfect Nintendo Dads anime. Go.
Okay, well, I couldn't think of any like tropes for individual characters, but I thought of a tropey scene that we would have to have in somewhere in the show, because we would be in a hot spring bathhouse like environment where, of course, the men are and our sons are on one side and our wives and daughters are on the other. They're doing their own individual socializing, and then hilarity ensues when one of the kids tries to peek us on the other side, and then that never goes well for the guys. This normally involves like trays being thrown and getting hit in the head.
And at some point, somebody has to make a joke, and somebody has to fall over and go, yeah! Right?
I don't think I even get that. So,
I'm really worried that we're borderlining into some cultural stereotypes that are not good.
Every anime I've ever seen, somebody tells a joke and then somebody falls out in like embarrassment, or like
Nani?
They fall over and yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It makes some weird sound. I don't know. The last anime I watched was when I was 15 years old. I watched a Ron Mahalf movie. Sorry.
That's not a good one to start with.
Marty, any questions from Patreon?
Yeah. So Christopher Logal asks, I keep waiting for the day when NHL 94 will join the list of SNES games on Nintendo Switch Online.
He said in chat earlier.
A question or a statement? Not a question.
It's not even a question. Yeah. All right. So NHL 94 is banned from the show next week.
Yeah, he said in the chat that he plans on using the Game Garage to make an NHL 94 game.
I love it. Yes.
Imagine if he had that kind of passion and could do something good for the world.
I don't know.
I go through it. I'm like, why have I been mentioned 25 times? I'm like, oh my God, it's Chris in NHL 94.
Yeah, Andre doesn't realize how long this running gag has gone. His username is ChrisHL94.
Yeah. It's been months, literal months. Well, guys, no more comments or questions. So that means we have reached the end of this episode of Nintendo Dads. We want to thank you for hanging out with us for episode 327. And Andre, we want to thank you especially for your time and your energy. The sun has set in the background there in where you are. And so we release you, good sir, to fly into the night. But we want to thank you for stopping by our first stop on the road to E3.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. That was a lot of fun. So I'm glad we could kick things off here. We're close. E3 is almost here.
Yeah. So you guys be sure to head over to YouTube and check out Game Explains E3 coverage. And don't forget to head over to our YouTube, where right now we've got over 5,450 subscribers. We want to say a huge thanks to everyone who subscribes to us on YouTube and Twitch. Over 1,010 followers there. And thanks to our 24 Twitch subscribers who also get access to our Discord community and activities because they subscribed over there. We want to say also a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberger, and Antonio Contronio and Solo Something. Thank you guys for supporting us at the $30 level over on Patreon. And we want to remind you, check out nintendodads.org for our merch store, our latest YouTube videos, tweets, podcast episodes, a link to our social media, and as well as our Extra Life 2021, which is already up and rolling thanks to Tim. You can find us in most places you visit socially by typing in Nintendo Dads. If we're there, we'll pop up. And then you can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, head over to your podcast app of choice, leave us a 5-star review and some words like some people did this week. Some of their words were Jesse, Marty, Justin, and other names that have never been on our show before. And that's okay. Just as long as you leave that 5-star review, it helps people find us, pushes us on up the ratings, and lets more people come into the Nintendo Dads family. For me, for Andre, for Justin, for Jesse, and Tim, this has been episode 327. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?